Hello everybody, it's Leanne Oaten here. There's this thing on my roof, you guys. Do you see that little spot? It's from when my husband painted this room gray and he touched the brush with the ceiling and it bothers me. Or touched the brush to the ceiling with the gray paint and it bothers me every time, so I need to get that fixed. It's a little bit of OCD. So I just wanted to hop on quick and chat with you about, really just like a health check-in. A check-in with you to see truly how it is that you're feeling day to day, because what can happen is that we get busy. We're moms, we work, maybe you're an entrepreneur and you have multiple areas of your life that you're trying to keep afloat. And a lot of times, at least for the women that burn out and the women that come to me and the women who are like me, they tend to put what they need at the bottom of the to-do list, and how they're feeling and their health and their emotions and everything that they need to do to stay centered and thriving tends to move to the bottom of the to-do list. So, of course, when I'm working with clients one-to-one, that's the biggest focus, is really bringing them back to themselves, asking tons and tons of powerful questions and guiding them to find some of their own answers. So that's really the biggest piece of reversing things like adrenal fatigue, is basically it's when we've disconnected from ourselves and we're operating from that fear, force, push, control energy, from that stress energy, which is masculine energy. And us as women, we are not geared and designed to operate like that 24 hours a day. So when that starts to happen over time, it starts to take a toll on our health and our energy levels. So what I want to share with you today are a few signs that your adrenals may need some love, because we can be going along and not necessarily notice. There's this analogy. I don't know how true it is. It's an analogy that can explain this thing that can happen when things start to creep up very slowly, so slowly that you don't notice, until one day you're like, it just hit me out of thin air. I'm suddenly feeling sick. I have no energy. I'm always catching things. Just feeling really unwell, and it just happened overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. But there's this analogy of, if you put a frog into water and slowly turn up the heat very, very slowly, the frog will cook to death in the water, because it won't notice the small incremental temperature changes to the point where it's there. And I've heard that analogy before. I'm like, who knows if that's true, but that's a very good way to explain this, because that's how it happens. It kind of creeps up on us to the point where one day we're like, who am I? What's happening to my body? Why all of a sudden is my health going down the drain? And it's a slow process that happens, and a lot of times it's something that starts internally. So anyways, let's get into this quickly. I like to be short and sweet with these videos. So number one, the one key indicator is morning fatigue. So waking up in the morning feeling really sluggish, feeling like you're not well rested, feeling like you didn't sleep, maybe even like a slight feeling of like feeling hungover, but you didn't drink anything that night. Sometimes even like a bit of a dull headache or something like that when you first wake up. It just feels like you just could sleep and sleep and sleep. Maybe you keep turning your alarm off and hitting the snooze button, and you just have a really hard time getting out of bed. That was a really, really, really big one that stuck around for me for the longest time. I'm still somebody that loves 8, 9, 10 hours of sleep. I'm not like a super early morning person, but my ideal time, if I wake up just on my own, is around 7 in the morning. I can wake up earlier when I have to, like when I have to get kids to school. Over the summer, I've just been letting my body wake up naturally, as it does around 7 o'clock. If you have adrenal fatigue, it just feels like it's almost impossible to lift your head off the pillow and to actually move. It's not a fatigue that you can just easily push through. It's very, very challenging, put it that way. And that is really a sign that your cortisol has dipped into the lower end in the morning, when it's supposed to be at its highest in the morning, so that you can wake up and feel rested. The next piece that starts to show up for women, and for us that end up in this adrenal fatigue picture, or this adrenal dysfunction picture, is things going on with our mood. And this is where many women, and many women I've worked with over the years, have gone to their doctor for antidepressants or anti-anxiety medications because their mood is all over the place. And that's where this generally starts to happen. But really the root cause is not a brain chemical imbalance necessarily, which most times it's not. Sometimes depression and anxiety is chemical, but that's another story altogether. Most times it's not. We need to look deeper into why this is going on. Like I said, I have had clients who thought they were depressed, and with working with me for a little while, were able to discover that that wasn't what it was. Well, they felt depressed, but the answer was right in front of them. They didn't realize, right? And sometimes we just don't see the forest through the trees. We don't see what's in front of us because we're just so much in it. We don't see what needs to change. So in the way of mood, it's irritability. I've got some notes. Irritability, quick to get triggered, really reactive emotionally, and just feeling kind of all over the place, and feeling really just irritable, edgy, just revved up kind of. So we need to be mindful of that, because being in those states cause our body to release cortisol, which we don't want, right? And then, as I said, the other two are when we start seeing symptoms of anxiety and depression rise up. The third one is frequent colds and flus. So always being sick, or seemingly like catching something that, you know, you're around somebody that gets sick and you always get it. I'm not a believer in cold and flu season. I'm a believer that it's the host, not the germ. So if our immune system is in optimal balance, we can be around somebody that's got a flu or a bug and not catch it. It is mindset, part of it. If you believe that you're somebody that always gets sick and you're always saying, I'm always sick, I catch everything that goes around, I have a horrible immune system, and we talk like that, then that's going to continue to be the reality. So we do need to work on the psychology around that, and beliefs around health and all of that. So when I was really, really sick with adrenal fatigue, I was constantly catching things. And of course I had kids in elementary school, and they were always bringing bugs home, and I would catch it every single time. And then sometimes my husband would bring something home, and then I'd be just getting over one thing, and then he would bring something home sometimes. And it was just constant. I felt like I was always either getting sick or getting over something. Now it's a very, very rare thing. I have to really think hard the last time I actually had a cold or something. Like I don't know. I hardly ever get sick. It's so rare that I can't even think of the last time I had a cold or something. So that's another sign. And say hey as you're hopping on. Hey ladies. Hey Maureen. Hey Paulette. Nice to see you. We're just talking about, we're doing a health check-in. So if you missed the first few minutes, when we're done here, go back and check it out, because I'm talking about signs that your adrenals need some love. So we covered the morning fatigue, the mood swings, and frequent colds and flus. I hardly ever get sick. I used to. End of story. I very much know that it's from stress, and it's when your adrenals are not functioning well. Then your adrenals are trying to function, and your immune system becomes like lower on the totem pole as far as necessity for staying alive, which it kind of sucks, right? Because it feels like you're always sick. And I was getting these crazy sinus infections and so many things. So many things were going all to heck. All right. And the next one is, are you fueled by coffee, caffeine, sugar, refined carbohydrates, the crappy ones, right? I'm not about low carbohydrates at all. I'm not saying never to eat carbohydrates at all, but to go for the slow carbohydrates, not the low carbohydrate. We don't need to avoid every and all grain and all carbohydrates. Like, we don't need to be feeling phobic around that. But I'm talking more about you're wanting like the donuts, the muffins, the refined stuff, the sugar, salt cravings, and you feel like you need more coffee than usual because you're feeling tired. And a really good indicator is in the afternoon feeling like you need another coffee or something, or sugar or something to boost your energy, because that's common to have that crash in the afternoon. So for me, I don't usually work at that time in the afternoon. I get all my stuff done in the morning, and then I'm out moving my body or doing other things in the afternoon. But if you're sitting at a desk or you're working at this time, I would say get up, move around, grab a drink of water, do something, get some fresh air, just to shift out of that rather than go for the sugar or the coffee. That's a better idea. See if you're dehydrated first. Because sugar, but caffeine in the afternoon is going to disrupt your sleep. So I'm not saying no coffee. I definitely went through no coffee periods in my journey of healing. I love coffee and I go on and off of it sometimes, but I try not to ever go past 2 a day. Like the second one is a very rare thing. It's very rare. And a lot of times in the morning, I don't even finish my full cup because I have it and then I get going with my day. So I'm not heavy on it. But there are some people who drink it all day long. And if you have it in the afternoon, it's going to affect your sleep, which is something you need. When you have adrenal fatigue, you need sleep. You need quality sleep at night so that your adrenals can recalibrate and your body can heal and regenerate. The last one I kind of touched on is around 3 o'clock. There's this energy crash. It can almost feel literally like your head weighs 1,000 pounds and your eyelids are heavy and you're so tired and you're like, I just need something, a nap or something. This is something that was really annoying for me, and I've had many clients that found this super, super annoying. And there are some ways that we can prevent that from even happening in the first place, which I do cover in my Master Your Energy program. But one of the things is to know that it's going to happen and take a few minutes before, like say if you know you normally crash around for me it was almost like to the minute, right around 3 o'clock. And it does become a mindset thing because you're kind of expecting it. So, just keep that in mind. But is to take a bit of a rest period before the crash. So almost like you are refueling, preparing because your adrenals are tired, right? So we need to work with our body and so that we can start building up the energy. So these are just signs that something is off. And a lot of times we push through it, and we push through it with caffeine, with sugar, and different things to distract from how we feel, to give us fake or false energy that later on just swings the other way, and then we have the energy crash. So we need to keep the blood sugar steady, especially with adrenal fatigue. There is a way that you need to learn how to eat, and it's a whole new way, and it does not involve deprivation, that you need to eat so that you keep your energy steady, 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 because you do not want blood sugar dips when you have adrenal fatigue, because that just releases cortisol. So every time your blood sugar crashes, cortisol is released, and there's just so many things happening behind the scenes that we don't realize, that we're adding stressors to our body. And these are some of the hidden stressors that I talk about. The stressors that you don't see. They're not like your kid not listening, or a bill that comes in the mail that's unexpected, or I don't know, like messy house when you have kids all over the place like I do. Those are stressors at times, but I'm talking more about the hidden stressors, the ones that we cannot see, and they're internal. So that's what I like to go into, is the real deal. Let's look deeper. Boredom. Yeah, sometimes we can eat through boredom. That's why in Master Your Energy, I do have a whole program on emotional eating and letting go of diet mentality and letting go of the need to mindlessly snack, because yeah, it's easy to do that, isn't it? It's like I go there and I have to be very careful and go, wait a minute, why are you going in the cupboard? You're not hungry, you just ate. What's really going on, right? So I just wanted to share that with you all, and just to remind you to always check in with yourself, always check in with your body. What's changed? What's really going on? How do you really feel inside your body? Is it good? And if it's not, then it's on you to make a change. Don't just settle for okay health, because your health is, if we don't have it, nothing else matters, right? We cannot be the moms, wives, entrepreneurs, working women, whatever you do, to our fullest capacity if our body is not in a good place. And in order to get our body in a good place, we need to get the emotional, psychological, spiritual imbalance. All right, so that's what I wanted to share, and also wanted to share one quick thing is that for this week only, I am going to be offering a coupon code for the self-study Master Your Energy program. And I'll put the coupon code above here, but it's 20% off the purchase when you go into the checkout, only till Friday. So I think that saves you about $150 or something. On the self-study, you get 1 year access, and I go into this much, much, much deeper, just what we've touched on here, because this is what's necessary to healing. The supplements are like that much. And eating clean is that much. It's how you eat, when you eat, your lifestyle, your emotional process, your internal process, your hidden stressors, marital stressors. There's a whole marriage course in there about how to get your needs met within your relationship, and how to build connection. I mean, it's just fully loaded. It's like a MBA in adrenal health. I know my coffee addiction was looking for some entertainment warmth. Yeah, and that's the thing with coffee, right? It does give you just a little boost, right? It gives you a little bit of a boost and a mood boost. There are health benefits to coffee, but there are times when people should not have it. So if you're someone that drinks it and you feel jittery and shaky and then you crash a couple hours later, that's a sign. It might mean that you need to pair it with certain foods so that doesn't happen. But I mean, I find if I'm reaching for that in the afternoon, I know there's something more going on. And I don't know, Maureen, if you ever got that recipe for my healthy bulletproof hot cocoa. There's no coffee in it, but it's got maca and healthy fats and everything in it. And it is the most delectable hot drink you could ever imagine. It's so rich and so decadent, but it's healthy. Nothing but healthy ingredients in it, dairy-free, refined sugar-free. And that's what I have my Master Your Energy peeps do to wean off of coffee. They can slowly add less and less coffee to this. It's a blender hot drink. It's really amazing. It gets all frothy and it's just like, I mean, it's so good. In the fall and winter, I drink it a lot in the afternoon because, yeah, I like the warm, hot drinks and not so much now in the summer because we're, 30 some odd degrees here. It's so hot. So if you are feeling stuck with not really able to cut the coffee out, then I do have replacements for that in the program, as well as sugar-free desserts that are seriously yummy, right? Because I have a sweet tooth. I was like, I don't want to give up every and all things that are sweet, but I know too much sugar is a trigger to eat more sugar, and it's just not a good thing. So I like to find healthier, refined, sugar-free options. So I have a whole recipe book in the program as well. So if you're listening live or on the replay, feel free to ask me any questions that you may have. As I said, the 20% off coupon code is summer. What did I say? Summer reboot. So I'll leave the link to the course up here and the coupon code. So when you go through the checkout, you just enter that coupon code and I will gift you 20% off of the self-study program. It's my signature program. So much love and care has been put into it. More updates. I'm always adding more, and you get 1 year access to the program. So it's a really life-changing program. Many women have gone through, and it's changed their life. Of course, only if you go through it and implement it, not just purchasing it. You got to actually do it. All right, well, I'm off to go take my little girl to get her haircut. We're going to go to the mall. I've been in and out of the house today. I had clients in the morning, went out, came back, going out again. So, all right, I hope you're all having a great day, and I'll speak with you soon. Bye.